Waking up from this location with the sound of the ocean beach and the wind through the boobiellas is so surreal. We remembered why we loved Musselrow Bay so much. Sitting around our camp, we were soon joined by some locals. There are 5 species of these marsupials in Tassie. We only encountered 2 in this area, the Bennett's wallaby and the paddy melon. Well, it looks like it's breakfast time, and whilst he looks as big as Mum, he must still be young enough as he's suckling from her. We watched others feeding from the kangaroo apple fruit bush nearby. The wallabies are quite specific about the berries that they picked. Quite often they would lip a berry and let it go and grab another. I guess it wasn't ripe. And the leaves must be okay too. By the way, these are poisonous to us humans. What did concern me was these are wild animals, yet they were not timid or scared in any way. Whilst this is great, the problem we encountered was that they would approach whilst we were eating and would even try and take food from our hands. You would need to wave them away. Whilst not aggressive, what would happen if young children were challenged? So please think about this before feeding any wild animals. Tasmanian summers can be dry, and this one is no different, and it's currently in the grips of a major fire danger time. This is also evident as we caught these wallabies drinking from some spilt dishwashing water. So we filled up a tub with fresh water and they lined up to drink. There was also plenty of bird activity, from green rosella parrots in the trees, ruddy turnstone sandpipers on the rocks, and we even captured a Pacific gull wrangling a sea urchin on the beach. And just like that, another wonderful day disappears. Well, morning guys. We've headed out of Musselrow this morning, heading back to Launceston, but on the way we've come a different way. So we're going to go out past Gladstone and then head towards Derby, Branksholme, Ringarooma and then into Scottsdale. But on the way is this amazing little lake. Used to be a tin mine many years ago, and now it's called the Little Blue Lake. Have a look at this. Yeah, one of those just amazing little things that's happened over the course of time. Wonderful. Yep, the spot is empty. So, Mellie's on the plane. We've dropped her off at the Launceston airport, so she's on her way back to Brisbane today on Sunday. She's got to go back to work on Monday, so she's had 3 lovely weeks with us. It's been really good that we could actually coordinate the holiday so she could share, well, she could share and we could share the time with her. Really great. Very good indeed. Bit of family time, nothing like it. Well, we're currently at the Lions Reserve in Deloraine. So we're going to head into Mole Creek this afternoon. They've had a big music festival, they've had a big music festival there this weekend. So with a bit of luck, a lot of people moved out and there'll be a bit of room in and around the pub or behind the pub, somewhere there that we can camp for a couple of days. Because we've done the other 2 caves, the one at Guns Plains and the one at Hastings Caves. So there's a wet cave at Mole Creek that I can remember doing at school. So hopefully, well it is. There was a thing on the telly the other day to say that the thing was opened again. It's been closed due to some floods a few years back. So we're going to try and check that out, and there is some other stuff to have a look at round Mole Creek. So it's a pretty specky place. old timber country. All right, we've finished lunch. What is it now? Mellie's probably about to be in the air on her way to Melbourne, transfer over, and then catch the big bird back to Brisbane. So we hope safe travels, Mel's, and we will speak to you guys later. Cheers.
Love like wildfire, I was your entire world until I stood alone in a storm. You took the sunshine, the flames are gone now, and I watched you walk straight out of that door.
Mole Creek is situated at the base of the Great Western Tiers, the gateway to some pristine trout fishing lakes, wilderness forests and lush farmlands. The town is named after Mole Creek, a tributary of the Mersey River. This creek is named due to the way that it appears above ground, descends below ground into the limestone cave system, and then reappears multiple times. The main industries in the area are forestry, farming, limestone mining, and it's well known for its honey. It accounts for about 35% of Tasmania's honey production, including leatherwood honey, a noted honey which is unique to Tasmania and sold internationally. Oops, and let's not forget the Tasmanian Tiger Bar at the Mole Creek pub. We were lucky. As the afternoon wore on, the clouds started to burn away. By the time we had set up, it had all but gone, and then it was time for us to have a look around. There is a healthy creek that runs behind the pub with plenty of native life. Trout, eels, there's even a resident platypus to see if you're lucky. The main street is lined with the history of the town and the people that have lived and survived here. What do I mean? You see, years ago there was a major fur trade on the Central Plateau, and trappers worked in this area right back up into the mountains. They built huts to shelter in during the inclement weather, and this tradition is carried on with mountain huts being restored and even a replica hut that's been built here to show all that want to stop and visit.
Where are we off to, John?
Well, morning all. What a wonderful place, Mole Creek. Definitely not on everybody's radar, but certainly was on ours. So we're staying at the back of the pub. What a great spot. We had a meal there last night and probably will do tonight. Bloody food is absolutely sensational. So this morning, we got up relatively early. It's a brisk Tasmanian summer's morning, I got to tell you. It says it's 14 degrees, it feels like about 8. But we're heading to the caves at Mole Creek. So we're doing the Maricopa Caves. And so these are a wet cave, but we'll give you a little bit more information after we've been. I don't know whether we are maybe able to record some stuff while we're in there. Problem is that the GoPros are not too good in low light, which is a lot of, obviously, when you're in the cave. They've told us it's 9 degrees, which is similar to all the others that we've been into. So that's nothing new. We've got long trousers and a jacket on. So we're looking forward to this. Totally different experience because these are wet caves as opposed to the ones that we've been in, which have been dry caves. So yeah, let's go and have a look. back to camp for some lunch, and then we headed up to the Westmoreland Falls. We were told that the Westmoreland Falls is a magnificent hidden gem tucked away in lush rainforest and just a short 15-minute drive from our camp at Mole Creek. This trail is 4 kilometres and around 2 hours return walk that delivers unspoilt rainforest as well as the cascades of the falls when you arrive. The track to the falls is marked with small ribbons and arrows that guide you through the dense scrub. The walk itself is typical of any uneven bush track, with sections of the walk quite steep. This gives you a taste of the tall eucalypt forests growing across the tiers, along with the varied understory of ferns, including the iconic tree fern. Then the walk concludes at an attractive, secluded waterfall. Liz, I wonder how old that tree fern is. Look at the size of it.
Oh, that's huge.
And here's another mountain eucalypt or mountain ash tree. These things are huge. Yes. Isn't it noisy? It's the sound of the Tasmanian bush. You can see an awful lot of sunlight, I'd say, because of the amount of lichen and moss that's still attached to the rocks. It's quite thick in places. Wow. Take the glasses off, Johnny. Well, as you can see, there's some big timber in there. So this is a really old forest that we're now walking through, and we've just started to hear the waterfall. So we must be getting close. Well, we've arrived at the Westmoreland Falls. What a specky spot. It's only just trickling over at the moment, or actually I'd say it's a bit more than a trickle, but it's pretty spectacular coming down. Goes sort of 2 ways and then ends up back into the river. Man, she carved this out when it was in flood. You can only imagine, there's a big tree up there that's always been washed down with the flood at some point. Wow, this is special. And as we said at the start, it was all about going and having a look at some of these places that we just never went and saw when we lived here. So as well as the main falls area, there's all these small little falls that are working their way around the top of the ridge and then coming down over the top and down into the river. And these alone are creating some pretty specky spots. Yeah, there's lots of fossils kicking around in here. The lady at the camp said that if you look hard enough you'll find them. Pretty. Here's another big one. Looks like a big shell. That was spectacular and well worth the walk. What an amazing afternoon. In fact, it was about to get a little bit crazy. If this piece of road looks familiar, then it is. Please let me explain briefly. We got evicted from our camp behind the pub. No! Yes, evicted. As you were aware, they had a concert on over the weekend, and the area behind the pub, which is normally the camping area, was used. So signs had been erected that the area would be closed until Monday. Remember, we arrived on Sunday afternoon and were placed there by the staff. When we returned from our walk, the no camping signs had been removed, leaving a sign that said, "One night stay only." Arriving at the camper, there was a note attached to the kitchen advising us to remove ourselves from the campground as it's one night only stay. You can imagine our surprise, given that we had told the people in the pub that we intended to spend day one at one of the caves and the falls walk, and the other at King Solomon Cave. So no meal and no beers at the pub. With no option, we packed up and left. Mind you, it was now around 5 p.m. Thankfully, daylight saving worked for us here. Luckily, we passed a campsite on the way back from our walk, and it turned out to be a cracker. Funny how some things turn out. We had to cook up the food and drink our own beer. Well, that's one for the storyboard. The day that JK and Liz got evicted will make a good campfire story one day. A new day dawned, and with our misadventures behind us, what new adventures and discoveries lay in wait for us today. We were heading back to Launceston as we had to prepare for one of my bucket list things, but more on that later. Before that, we had some more caves to visit. The first was at our campsite called Honeycomb Caves, which is one of the most accessible caves in the area. We ventured in from the southern end and worked our way through, exiting on the northern end. While not as spectacular as others we had visited, it was still quite interesting. On leaving the campground, next stop was King Solomon's Caves. Now, King Solomon's Cave is a richly decorated limestone cave. This small and compact cave offers lavish colours and a huge variety of formations with sparkling calcite crystals decorating the chambers. The cave has a high scientific and conservation significance as it's home to a number of threatened species, including a cave spider.
Yeah.